Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? It's KMB, the sexy ninja, in the place to be for Cplus Studios and a Paper Saber universe. Welcome. I welcome you to the New World Podcast, brother. My passion and love for professional wrestling. I believe this is season 4, episode 130. Somebody asked me a question like, why are you on season 4 when I'm barely discovering you with this podcast? I'm getting a lot of love and a lot of feedback for the wrestling podcast. That's why I've been cranking, banging and clanging, baby. Banging and clanking. Or clanging. Is it clanking? Clanking. Whatever. The show, just to catch people up real quick, the New World Podcast was something that I tried to start many times. You know, this is before we go into SmackDown. I apologize. I got to go on a quick little rant because I got asked this the other day because somebody that discovered the New World Podcast and likes the New World Podcast was like, I want to know the origin real quick. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I will address that. When we first started doing this about 5 years ago, we started with the Social Event Podcast, and I wanted to do a wrestling podcast so bad. So the first attempt of doing a wrestling podcast was called Wrestling Junkies. That was the first attempt. Then that just, it just wasn't consistent. I tried to have a partner on it, try to have people join me, but it just wasn't consistent. So it stopped. And it was a Patreon exclusive at the time we had Patreon. You know, when Patreon was a thing for us, we thought we can crank out all these things, but it's a lot to maintain your own creativity of Patreon, especially back then when we first started. Then and during that Patreon era of Cplus Studios, we tried to do another podcast called You Can't See This Podcast, where it was going to be broken down into individual things, individual wrestling matches, individual wrestlers and stuff. That fell by the wayside, and we only have a handful of episodes. I wanted to put that content out there soon into the New World Podcast archives. And then I just fell into this slump of like, man, I really want to start a wrestling podcast. I was like thinking of things back and forth. And when I finally came to it, I remember I was texting with Penta and I believe Colin. And I was like, man, I really want a name that sticks to this. And I remember Penta, and Penta's the one that created the logo, and he also created the logo intro for the show. Let's do this, brother. So when we were texting back and forth, and I had a bunch of crazy names, and then this one just stuck to me. I said, man, the New World Podcast, and I remember like nWp, and then Penta was like, hey, why don't you do it like the NWO logo, nWp, the New World Podcast. And if I'm getting the story wrong, Penta, you can chalk it up in the comments, man. I love you, brother. But yeah, it was like the New World Podcast, and we got the look, and I was like, man, this feels right. And so many levels, it feels right. So I officially started the podcast with Cody and Seth freaking Rollins and the Hell in a Cell, and there was no looking back. And so the reason why this is season 4, episode 130, is because I tried to start the New World Podcast, stopped. Tried to start the New World Podcast, stopped. Tried the New World Podcast, stopped. And if you look through our history of our videos on YouTube, our history on anywhere you get podcasts, if you just subscribe to the Cplus Studios feed or join us on Twitch, all that. Get some merch. Get yourself a New World Podcast shirt. I have a hoodie and a shirt that I love rocking, and people are always like, ooh, the New World Order. I'm like, nope, that's the New World Podcast, brother. A podcast that's all about professional wrestling. So an attempt. And if you look, like I said, if you look across our feeds, there's talks of wrestling here and there. On Social Event, we talk wrestling, but I wanted something directly towards what I love the most. So I was like, okay. And professional wrestling is on fire right now. It's a boom beyond booms in my wildest dreams, and I'm loving it. So now here we are, 130 episodes, deep. And I am proud of myself for staying consistent as best as I can. I look forward to watching a show, writing my notes, and, talking to y'all about what's going on with this show. And then when I included AEW, and what's crazy about it is, like, I was excited for AEW. I've said some things like, man, fuck AEW, just because I was like, I didn't like the whole them, like us versus them. I was like, just keep it within yourself, keep it within your own universe and stuff like that. But then I got converted into the cult of AEW because people were asking me, like, hey, review Dynamite. So I started watching Dynamite, and now I am like an AEW fucking fanatic, man. I can't wait until their backstage pass. I can't wait till anything you do. And Revolution was that pay-per-view I bought and watched, and I just enjoyed it. So now that's so crazy. It's like I look at this, and what's crazy about 130 episodes, I included Rampage and Dynamite, and I got SmackDown and Raw. I got Ring of Honor I want to work on next. But now that I'm in this world, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel better just because it's something I look forward to. I like to sit down, and if you don't believe me, I'll take a video and put it on YouTube or whatever in our social medias and TikToks and whatnot. But I will show you the notes upon notes I've been taking, and it's therapeutic. Very therapeutic for me to get out this love of the business. It feels good. And you're probably like, all right, big head boy, let's get to SmackDown, and let's do that right here, right now. They're in Pittsburgh. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on commentary. SmackDown, it's fight night. All right. Bloodline package starting to show. Jey deserves an Oscar for that performance on Raw. Got me believing, got everyone else believing. We were like, holy shit. And as soon as that kick came, our hearts shattered. So we're going to hear from them at the end of the show. And this show is well packed inside each other and not too many matches. And I think that's why SmackDown's an easier pill to swallow. But even this past Raw was fucking fantastic. Jimmy J roll up. No Solo, and where the fuck is Roman Reigns? No Roman Reigns, no Solo. I didn't see Solo. But this was about Jimmy, Paul Heyman. We're here. And we start the show off in a confusing fashion, but it was a fatal 5-way match to determine who's going to face Gunther at WrestleMania. It's Drew McIntyre, Karrion Kross, Xavier Woods, L.A. Knight, Sheamus. And Imperium comes out to watch because Gunther wants to see who he's going to face at the big show of shows. This was a fun match to start off SmackDown. Like I was digging it. There was some great spots. Xavier looked fantastic. I was pulling for Xavier. I was like, come on. I want Xavier to get his moment at WrestleMania. And, I want to see where we could build this and make, Xavier a champ. I would love to see Xavier Woods as a champ. But no, I was like, more likely they're going to have Sheamus, against Gunther, the third match in that first classic. Second one was okay, but that first one, man, at Clash at the Castle was fantastic. So that's a really big and hard match to follow. And the second one was okay, and I was just like, man, they really want to bank and get that third match out of these two at WrestleMania of all places. So I think they shouldn't have jumped the gun when they did, when they're like, oh, here's the second match. Y'all like that one? Here's the second one. No. So, and out of nowhere, like, Drew and Sheamus are having these little banters, and Sheamus is like, why are you trying to take the spotlight from me, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff's going on, and, like, spots, and then finally we get a pin, and I don't know where the second ref came from. Like, the second ref just came out of nowhere, and Drew and Sheamus got the win, and two refs were there holding each other's hands up, and then they were arguing, and I was like, where did the second ref come from? Because, like, bada bing, bada boom. Like, and with the two refs, I was like, this is such a weird finish. Like, I don't know. You know, you could have done one ref, 1, 2, 3, with the two. I don't understand the two ref thing. So I was a little confused there, but it is going to be settled next week. Sheamus and Drew, and whoever wins will face Gunther, and it better not end in a double countout, and we're going to get a triple threat, because that's what I feel. I feel like this is what we're building towards. It's going to be Sheamus, Drew, Gunther at WrestleMania in a triple threat for the IC title. I just feel that's coming, and I feel that that's where we're going, especially with next week, and then it's going to be in a draw or something weird like that. If not, it's going to be Sheamus. So edge of your seat stuff, folks. Kayla Braxton backstage with Paul Heyman, talking about Cody, and, you know, I love these two's interactions together, like, especially when Paul's with anybody, he just pulls out something from anyone, and he knows how to be so slimy and this and that. So, talking about Cody, talking about how Cody's in blood and got into bloodline business, got in our business, and we're family, and he and the tribal chief is happy that Jey picked his side. All right. First inductee for the Hall of Fame 2023, Rey Mysterio 619. Rey Mysterio 619 comes out, and before he speaks, the douchebag himself, Dominic Mysterio, comes out with Judgment Day. They interrupt him in this big monumental moment. And I gotta say, I'm loving Prison Dom. Prison Dom is like my jam on the jelly, my jam on toast. He is getting so much better on that mic, so much better in the ring. And I got to thank the influence of Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, Finn Balor for taking him into the Judgment Day and, like, giving him some life. Because beforehand, when he was with Rey, they were the tag team, father-son. Dominic was so plain Jane, and now there's some layers to the kid. And I'm really enjoying it. I like this whole... like, you're a deadbeat father, blah, 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 blah. You know, Eddie should have been my dad. I was like, fuck, we're getting deep with this. And it's going to come down to these two, Mysterio versus Mysterio at WrestleMania. And the fact that Rey is getting a Hall of Fame, he's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, is going to be even crazier just because of the fact that if he faces his son, and, you know, I don't want Dom to say anything at the Hall of Fame speech, because I'm like, no, you hate your dad. Or he does come out and says something in a heel fashion at the ceremony itself, and that would be fucking awesome. But LDF comes out, Legado del Fantasma. You know, they've been defending Rey, but then it sets up the match for them versus Judgment Day. Crazy match, crazy, like, just all over the place. Everyone's going. I really like LFD. LDF, my apologies. But I really like these guys, and I like them tangling with the Judgment Day. But Judgment Day for the win, because Dom got the pin, and it was because he kicked Rey, and Rey tried to come in, distraction, and Dom gets on the mic and goes, yo, I want to go man to man, you know, tells Judgment Day walk out. And I love what Rey does when he's like looking at LDF, and he looks at Rey, and he points at his eyes. He's like, just keep a lookout. Get my back. That's what you got to do, Jack. Get my back. And he gets in the ring, you know, and it's like, come on, hit me, you know. And Dom pushes Rey, and Rey goes to the ropes, and then Dom's about to attack again, and then he lets him out, bam, and he goes, you can't do this to me. You can't do this to me, father, you know. So we're building up the heat, and I know as soon as Rey finally hits him just once, that crowd pop is gonna go, you know. And I can't wait until Dom gets his day and Rey can beat the shit out of his son. Ricochet and Braun backstage. Ms. Maurice package for Top Gun, because WrestleMania goes Hollywood. I'm waiting for the next little thing they're going to put together with the other superstars. All right, so Adam Pearce is backstage and with Charlotte. Charlotte, she wants a match. She says it's WrestleMania season and she needs to fight. So Adam Pearce says, okay, go to the ring and I'll find somebody for you. We get into our match, Ricochet and Braun Strowman versus the Viking Raiders. I can give a shit less. I enjoyed the match, but I can give a shit less. I don't understand this Ricochet and Braun Strowman. I think Ricochet is better on his own. Braun Strowman, I just feel like these two are like Triple H is in the back and he's like, hey, you doing anything? No. Hey, you over there, you doing anything? No, come here. Y'all are tag teams now. You're a tag team. Look at you. Yeah, get it? Big, small. So Viking Raiders for the win, but I'm just like, man, I feel like the Viking Raiders they've been repackaged so much and they lose. They got the win here. They got the win, but I'm just like, okay. I don't care. I'm like John to Austin Theory from Raw. I don't care. The great performance in the ring, but I don't care. Imperium backstage with Adam and Gunther's like, I don't speak English that well, but I understand the words. Challenger, singular. Challengers, plural. And that's when Adam made the announcement for Sheamus and Drew next week. But I love Gunther. That face, the ring is sacred. No, he's not French, but I just love Gunther. I just love when he speaks. He is a talent that is a pure level, like of just badassery. He could whoop your ass and do it in that ring very well for a very big man as himself. Charlotte Flair versus Shotzi in her TCB tank. This match was cool. Did what it needed to do. Charlotte for the win. Rhea comes out. She's out there watching her opponent. She's going to face at WrestleMania. Shotzi lost into the background. She gets tapped out by the figure eight. And Rhea and Charlotte come face to face. Rhea says her piece. Charlotte says her piece. And she goes, I understand that you're Rhea Bloody Ripley. You will tear down any opponent you can. You will do what you need to do. You will do this. You will do that. You will do that. But not to me, kid. Not to me. And walked away in pure fashion. I'm just like, damn. Someone call the burn unit. There was a fire. I was like, ooh. I can't wait for these two to lock up again. I remember the first time around, I was like, okay, I wasn't really into Rhea at that time. I was like, yeah, she's good. I like her. I don't think she's like, I hate to say worthy of facing Charlotte, but now I'm like, these two, I'm ready. I'm ready, man. It's WrestleMania season, so I get all giddy, gooby, gobby, so. But the Usos are walking to the ring, cut the commercial, come back. Usos out there. It's just the Usos, no Solo, no Roman, no Paul. But Jey speaking his piece, and he says, I blame you, Sami Zayn. You're selfish. And Jimmy speaks on, like, why is Cody Rhodes in our business? And I was like, well, because he's facing the tribal chief at WrestleMania, so shut your mouth. But I couldn't say that because I love the bloodline. I'm torn, but I love Cody, man. I've been listening to his theme song, Kingdom, for, like, I think 2 weeks straight. Like, it's on rotation. I at least listen to that song like 3-4 times a day. It gets me pumped. It gets me motivated, and I love that. And what's funny is, like, the band that plays that song is the same one that does the Miz's song and a couple other superstar songs. But I was like, I came to play. There's a price to pay. And I like the fact that they do Kingdom, Cody's song, and the lyrics are very to Cody. It's very personable. I just love the song. That's what I'm just saying. I just love that song. But Usos say their piece. Cody comes out and he's like, yo, if you're going to if you're going to speak about me and say my name, you should say it to my face. And he goes, I don't think these people are here to see us talk. I think they're here to see us fight. I was like, yeah, baby, Cody taking off the... I wonder how much Cody spends on his wardrobe, because he dresses very nice. Cody dresses very nice, and once again, he's ripping his shirt, this and that. I'm like, I wonder if that's like $100 Gucci shirt, or I don't know, Gucci. Do they make shirts? I don't know. Fuck. He rips them off, and there was a moment that I kind of laughed at after the brawl comes out. Then Sammy comes out, huge pop. They're fighting in the crowd, but Cody cannot get his hand out of his shirt, not until the very end, and the camera's like cutting to him, cut back, and he's trying to pull the shirt. But lo and behold, the Usos get beat down, humiliated, and thrown out of the ring, and standing tall is Sammy and Cody. Now, my biggest question, when will we pull the trigger and get Kevin Owens into this? Because Kevin's over here saying, nope, not doing it, girlfriend. I'm going to do it on my own. Now you got Cody coming to the rescue, Sammy coming to the rescue. Cody, come on, Kevin, or come on, storyline people. Let's get Kevin in there. I know it's still about a month away till WrestleMania, a few weeks, but we need to get Kevin in there, and I'm hoping next week is when we do it, either on Raw or SmackDown. Shit, on both. Now that they're mixing storylines into Raw, this is must-see WWE TV. The Bloodline is money, and I'm interested, and Cody is I'm interested in everything going on right now. There's things I don't care about, things I do care about, but this is the story we all want to see finished at WrestleMania. All right. I give this show a solid 4 out of 5. I had a good time. Like I said, SmackDown is just so much fun just to watch, because it's like, oh shit, it's over. Oh, that was good. Oh shit, yeah, Cody, Sammy. 4 out of 5. Tell me what you thought of the show. Drop those comments below. What are you excited for? Where are you excited for all of this to go? Are you waiting for Kevin to finally get on page and help Sammy defeat the Bloodline, take those tag team titles? It's gonna happen, but when? Just drop those comments below. Then after that, hit that like, hit that subscribe, share with your grandma, share with your grandpa, share with the bum down at Walmart. And when you subscribe to Cplus Studios, the feed, the YouTube, everything, anywhere and everywhere you get podcasts, you get great podcasts. This is a network, if you will. A network of awesomeness. We got the Sexy Ninja Cast, where I speak about my passions, speak about things just giving my all in my fandom of so many things I love. And we got the New World Podcast that is cranking out some great content and talking about these shows and my emotions and what professional wrestling is and means to me. Okay? And you get Big Daddy Forever, when he sprinkles in, he gets this really great podcasts in there, and they're just so motivational. You also get the social vent. Me and him get together, we talk shit, about politics, everything like that. So go check it out. You subscribe to this network, you get some great content. Check us out on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. We have a Snapchat that we hardly ever use, but we're on there. We're everywhere. Cplus Studios is everywhere, and the Paper Saber universe is slowly building. And that's going to be the kingdom. Well, it's all a kingdom, because, we've been at this for a long time. So, all right, y'all. Share with your grandma. Share with your grandpa. Share with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja. And as always, the New World Podcast is for life. Brother.
There's one person I'll blame, and that is you, Sami Zayn. I almost left the bloodline with you. Boy, you was about to let my brother get clipped.